Have you ever found yourself wondering how to get a list of all the event listeners for a React component? It can be a bit tricky, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into how to retrieve those synthetic event handlers for your React components. I totally get it. It can be frustrating when you're trying to debug your React components and you can't easily see which event listeners are attached. You're not alone in this. Many developers face this challenge. Here's the specific question we're tackling today. One user asked, how do I get the list of listeners like onChange and onClick for my React component? They want to know if there's a clean and easy way to retrieve these listeners. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So, why is this important? Understanding which event listeners are attached to your components can help you debug issues and optimize performance. Unfortunately, React doesn't provide a built-in method like getEventListeners for this purpose, which can make things a bit complicated. And stick around. I've got a handy tip at the end that will make managing your event listeners a breeze. To get the list of all registered synthetic event handlers for a React component, the user should start by understanding how React manages event listeners. React uses a synthetic event system that wraps the native events. Next, the user can create a custom function that will extract the event listeners from the component's props. This function will look for keys that start with on to identify event handlers. After defining the function, the user should call it with the props of the React component. This will return an array of event listener names. Finally, the user can log the output to the console to verify that they have successfully retrieved the list of event listeners for the component. Fun fact, did you know that React was developed by Facebook to solve their own problems with user interface development? Now, it's one of the most popular libraries out there. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. One alternative approach to get the list of registered synthetic event handlers in a React component is to create a simple function. This function, called getListeners, takes a component as an argument and returns an object mapping the event listeners. It filters the component's props to find those that start with on, which is the convention for event listeners in React. The user also suggests enhancing this function by explicitly filtering for supported React event listeners and ensuring that the values are functions. This makes the solution more robust and reliable. Here's the tip I promised. Always document your event listeners, especially in larger components. This practice can save you a lot of time when debugging or optimizing your code. And there you have it. You now know how to keep track of your React components' event listeners. Remember, good documentation and utility functions can make your life much easier. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips. And don't miss our next video where we dive deeper into React best practices.